Got ourselves team 2 with Cobra joining back in. I think he's not first, potentially. Maybe Deathlife is first. Deathlife out and about, skulking in the dark. We got ourselves Seawork in the back, Dookie Fighter, as well as the rest of the team with Midi and Liana getting kind of launched. But if you guys want to kind of hang out next to Seawork, or even at the corner where the stairs are, that's perfectly fine. There's no good spots to hang out, kind of in the corner in this arena. Does go for a quick kick as Yareem looking to lock down Deathlife, as the man is having to choose. Does he give this mage a death? Or does he get to claim his live breath to follow? Camera kind of weird on this mage, so there's not much you can really do. I'll try to see if we can track Deathlife here for a little bit until this fixes itself. But missiles are available. Touch of the Magi. Potential lots of damage. Got himself the barrage. Potential spark damage too. As it's going to be Deathlife. Got himself a little bit of defense as well. Still taking huge hits. Either way, the wall out for Deathlife. Got himself full fire. Locked down with a stun. Trinket is available. Convoke not up for the Deathlife. But in 30 seconds, if you could lock him out on Arcane, so you can't blink anywhere or interrupt him, and as long as there's no breath, I think you can really get something going here. Does try to go for a kick. Does not quite get it, man. That missile start and then canceling it. He is able to go for jukes left and right. I feel like Yareem on jukes is actually really, really good. I feel like he's almost always in that state of precog with his the PvP gems. He's getting kind of low though on health. Does go for Ultra. Icebox still available. Deathlife has the Convoke. If he just interrupts him on Arcane, he'll be very, very solid. Rooted the guy, knocking him back. Is it enough right here? Got himself touch of the magic, potential lots of damage. If you can interrupt the missiles, it's going to be Convoke. Interrupted right after. Maybe still got plenty of damage either way though. Or doesn't connect, but the missile's still doing plenty of damage. And that's another array of missiles. The man having to go for Heart of the Wild here. Plenty of survivability in Yareem. Should just be able to, I feel like, keep the pressure rolling. Just trying to see if he can maybe back up out of there. Might be looking at Icebox too. Deathlife needs to go for a bit of recovery. But I feel like if he can just continue the pressure onto Yareem, try to go for a kick, doesn't quite reach him. Knocked back yet again. More missiles around the corner as he's utilizing the precognition window as best as possible. Yareem try to go in, or Deathlife there, rather, try to go in for, I think, potentially set up from Bear from to Cat from Breath right after. Does he have enough here? He just needs a little bit. Deathlife needs to get the bleeds, needs to keep the pressure rolling, but needs to make sure those dots are constantly on Yareem. Touch of the magic potentially could be huge. That's going to be spark damage eventually. Missiles to follow. Barrage is not enough. Ice block and Deathlife still not out of the woods just yet. This is not going to spark on him, but he got symbiotic growth. But he does have a spark. And the way that you can tell there's a spark, I think it has an animation when you first pop and touch the magic on the guy, but there's also a sound to it. You can hear if there's a spark on you, because it feels like just a how do you explain it? It's almost like an engine that just keeps ramping and ramping and ramping, but it has this like very much an arcane WoW spell tinge about it, right? That's literally the only way I can tell if it's up, is if I hear the sound. I'm sure there's like some animation part that I'm just not looking at here, but there's definitely sound with it, which is interesting. Ultra available, got the Feral in a great position. He's able to completely zone him out away from the guy. Full burst available and everything. And Deathlife just needs a bit more. He's spending a lot of time in Bear for him, man. I feel like when you're spending this much time in Bear, you might as well go the Druid of the Claw, and that's too full touch of the Magi. There's just not much you can do. Together with that spark for a little bit of burst on top of it is Gold and Killer up next. Try to see if you can keep that pressure rolling in. And we're just having to go from Feral to the Hunter, and he's keeping that intensity the entire time. Does get silenced by Chimeric Poison. There's going to be a Trinket out of the Hunter, trying to go for a bit of a knockback away from the guy. Does not have a block. Reverse Blink does put him in a bit of a weird spot, but got a little bit of healing. Ultra, he does have Ultra, potentially good go. Disarmed, he doesn't have to worry about weapons. Ultra, got value, shields up. I don't know if he'll have enough anything here to work with. Invis to reduce some of the damage taken, that's good. Harpoon for the Hunter, you can't shake this Hunter off your back whatsoever. Try to go for a kick, does go for the precog, but I think the damage may be a bit too much. Fade death by the Hunter, kill shot to follow him, and just not that you can do him. You can hear it. I'm gonna try to see if we can turn it up on the what is it, the audio for it, just so you can hear it. I don't know if there's like an animation I'm supposed to be looking for, but you can definitely hear it. Liana around the corner does walk into this with a bit of an arcane shield. Not really Liana's fault. Yareem just trying to cycle his own shields. And like in PvP, you're just gonna run, even in 1v1, you're just gonna run a second barrier. You know what I mean? I remember somebody was like, hey, are you gonna let this Hunter run in when he has a shield? It's like, well, I mean, like, it's not the Hunter's fault. You know what I mean? He's just a mage AoE shields. He's not doing it for his team. He's just doing it to live. You know what I mean? Big explosive out and killer. Try to see if you can get super aggressive. Trinket out for Liana. Just holding their ground. Look at that. Just standing still. Focusing on damage. Focusing on the setup. That's going to be pet trapped up. And I think it's killer's pet, right? I can't even tell. I think it was killer's pet. Does double harpooning each other. Kind of ruining each other in place. That's going to go chimeric poison. Flank strike right after. Liana just focusing on the raw damage right now as best as they can. Neither of them are just going anywhere. Running anywhere just does nothing. Another defensive for Liana. Look at that survivability. When you use a defensive while low health, you get this hot that simply just keeps refreshing if you're low health. And it's just almost like an infinite hot that ends up basically building up a ton of pressure, ton of damage. And just takes him out with a bear. What a focused hunter that was, man. Well done. Corbett, I feel like, is trying to see if he can deny him any kind of reset. Does hit him with a binding shot, avoiding the succubus into a big coordinated assault. And the pet still not stunned up, which is unfortunate. Does go for the sack. That potentially could help you out here. Big lob and explosive thrown out of a portal. Mortical into an infernal chaos bolt right after stun to follow with another demon spawning in. Soulfire, Liana is under a ton of pressure. There goes the turtle shell. And if you're low and you use defensives, that at least gives you healing over time. You got yourself a fairly strong healing over time effect. So at the very least, it's almost like you got a restoration druid covering you the entire time. So as long as you're taking damage while low health, while a defensive is being used, and you got the hot, keep refreshing. Almost like a second wind kind of deal. One bolt, fear to follow. Second bolt setting up. Is that line decided? It is line decided. Flank a strike to close the gap. Trying not to get interrupted on Chaos Bolt. One bolt, maybe second bolt. Is that enough? He got a defensive. He's got a defensive and a hot. He's just living through the fire damage right now. He's pressing defensive and just standing their ground. You gotta love it into a Chaos Bolt again. He's just eating bolts for breakfast like they're nothing. Corbin is the one having to pop a wall here. Liana pop wall once and they're just surviving just on the healing over time alone. Look at that. Pack leader survival is insane. Soulfire trying to close that gap, reducing some of the damage taken. Got himself fortification of the bear, which is huge. In stun onto Corbin. He does have a wall this time around. Hold on. If you can interrupt him on right ability, he's trying to be very careful. Trying to go for a kick on Chaos Bolt and then kick on Shadow into a scatter onto the fear. Trying to see if he can play around this as best as he can. Chaos Bolt does go for the chimeric, stopping a lot of the pressure. Explosive is ready, trying to line his sight. Hold on a second. It's so low. Mortar coil. Is that enough? Does he have any way to close the gap? Try to see if he can escape that stun. You got a portal. He just needs to end them. Ruination is available for chaos for the warlock. Got him some full ruination. Fast cast. What is that cast? Grenades? I think it's over, right? Hold on. Chaos 1. Oh, wait a second. He's still alive. Chaos Bolt. Hold on. Is this it? Does it kill him? Oh. Liana's still alive, dude. I need to count how many bolts you ate. That was insane. And the last it takes you was successive. Just tases you. Just places against. Is that? I guess I was gonna say places a taser against your neck until you just go down. And I thought, wait, is that is that how you use a taser? I guess the neck. I don't know. I know some spots would be like frowned upon. That's where my brain went, dude. It's like, Tom, what is he on about? Don't ignore me. Mini with a full crusade. Is that just crusade proc or is that like an actual crusade though? Is my question. Quick blind onto successive into searing glare. I think it's a full crusade. I think it's just full on swinging. I think I can't hard to tell, man. Hard to tell. But he's got himself a Hodge. Trinket available for successive. Back it up out of there. One more as well. 0 damage. Dude, seriously, Cobra. It is a ton of bolts, man. He ate so many of them. It is wild. Bubble up for Midi. Yeah, I think that was his actual full crusade. But it's got himself playing with those hammers, dropping down. Except they're hitting all the pets on a successful. Back to bottom. They got himself full of sand. Lightning bolts to follow. He just needs a bit more damage. Just needs a bit more ramp up. Needs to make sure he can get him the massive Tempest coming down. Oh my god. That Tempest. It looked beautiful. Holy. Cobra out of shape. No. Far from it. You should have seen him yesterday, Christers. Yeah, definitely not, man. Definitely not. It's just the hunter diff, man. Pack leader is not gotten as much attention as it should have, but now that like they're fixing a lot of the hero talents, pack leader's playable, sorta. At least the defensive is very playable. Big Blaze Storm out for Dookie. Got himself full setup ready to go, and Excessive got himself wall. He managed to use it really early. Double that charge. Just cannot shake this guy off of him whatsoever. He's got Warlock House, so maybe to help him out here a little. but not a lot of health to work with. 51% dampening, one more execute away, and it's over. Yeah, with Dookie, especially with how those executes ramp up, it's gonna come down to Thanky. Thanky trying to give this man a bit of an honor duel, let him get a full second win and all that. He won't have Trinket, he won't have offensive. If Thanky's careful, he might be in a great spot. He's still got to go up against Dookie as well as Seavark. So Thanky better be very, very careful with his cooldowns. I feel like you want to use them, but make sure you rotate him perfectly, essentially. I think you have to rotate your cooldowns perfectly. Karma really, really early versus Dookie. He got him some big defenses as well. That is a full set of images here and everything. Fist of Fury, Zuen is in play. Does he just go in for a Celestial potentially? He's just gonna go for that clash into a full-on conduit. Lexium, Mad Burst, might have him low enough. I think Touch of Death needs to use it. Does go for that Touch of Death. Rolling out, and Seavark, I think he wants to give him as much of an auto duel, but we are pretty high into dampening. There isn't so much healing you could really do in this situation. Immediately hits him with a breath. Poly, maybe that heals him? Kind of. It does heal him at the very least. Trying to stun him, but a Meteor with the Comet Storm does get to avoid it. Ring a piece of zone out Seavark, but Seavark is the master of control, master of that zonal action. Couple of blizzards, couple of frozen orbs around the pillar, and Thanky cannot stand by the pillar whatsoever. He doesn't have a Karma, so he's better be very, very careful here. Glacial Spike trying to see if he can stop it. He needs to use line of sight if at all possible. If he got him supports, he needs to use him whenever immediately. Also, if you have paralysis, that used to be utilized. He's super, super low with those flurries lands. Oh, that is so rough. That is a lot of damage, though. I don't know how you live that. Liana just 8 bolts back to back, dude. I need to rewatch that when I get a chance. Also, Successive does a lot of healing for that high dampening. That's crazy. I need to rewatch it. I need to literally just count it, man. I need to have a number show up, like a counter. How many bolts and ruinations and even soul fires you ate. How many big hits you ate to the face and just chilling.